I'm Georgina Fernandez with Alaska's News Source. I'm joined right now by Mike Fitz. He's one of the founders of Fat Bear Week. Mike, tell me, where did this inspiration come from?
Well, when I was a ranger at Katmai National Park in 2014, I was also working with the webcams in partnership with explore.org. And we had emphasized that bears need to get fat to survive winter hibernation. Fat is the fuel that powers their ability to survive that time of the year when they're not eating or drinking. So I was looking at webcam comments one day. I saw somebody post a photo of the same bear from early summer and late summer, and the person was like, "Hey, look how fat this bear got." And something in my brain clicked. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of fun if we let people decide who they thought was the fattest and most successful Brooks River bear of the year? I brainstormed that idea with a couple of other park rangers I was working with at the time, Aaron Kameyer and Landis Ealer. And we put together this one-day event. We called it Fat Bear Tuesday. The engagement on it was super high compared to anything we had done online in our social media channels at the time. So that day I decided it needed to be expanded into a whole week to allow more people to participate. It's only grown in popularity since then.
And that's just expanded, like you said, over the past decade. From 2014, when it was just, that Tuesday, to now, how have you seen it just grow and develop?
Well, it's grown in the number of people that participate. In 2014, I think we had like 1,700 votes total or something like that. Last year we had 1.1, 1.2 million votes, right around in there. We're on pace, I think, this year to equal that or maybe even exceed it. One of the things that's also changed is schools are participating a lot. So teachers are using Fat Bear Week in their classrooms to maybe teach about hibernation or teach about brown bear biology or teach about Alaska as well. I think most of the votes are coming from outside of Alaska, and that's allowing people to be introduced to the state in a different way.
And, how is this not just a fun thing, but also an educational thing, not just for, students, but adults?
Yeah, it helps us to recognize sort of like the efforts that bears go through to get fat. And at Brooks River, bears have it pretty good, let's be honest. Like a lot of them can kind of sit and wait for the salmon to come to them, but that doesn't mean they don't face individual challenges in their lives. An older bear, like the bear that's on my screen behind me, number 856, he was formerly the river's most dominant bear for about a decade, but he's right around 25 years old or so. He can no longer compete with the younger bears like he used to. So he's had to adapt his strategies of survival to make way for some of these younger bears. So a bear like him has a social intelligence that has allowed him to succeed even in his old age. And then we have younger bears, of course, that are just learning the ropes, learning how to find their way in the landscape. And then Fat Bear Week also allows us to celebrate sort of like the richness and the productivity of the Bristol Bay ecosystem, home to the last great salmon run left on Earth. And there wouldn't be a Fat Bear Week without salmon.
And what's your favorite part about Fat Bear Week? Do you have a favorite bear at all?
I do have a lot of bears that I like to follow their stories. For instance, like Bear 32 Chunk this year, I think he is one of the front runners in Fat Bear Week. He's one of the biggest bears on Brooks River, but he also broke his jaw in June sometime. We don't know exactly how it happened because no one witnessed it, but the timing of it and the nature of that injury really suggests that he broke it in a fight with another bear. So he's had to adapt his life this summer to that very significant injury. It changes how he fishes, it changes how he eats salmon, it changes how he can compete with other bears along Brooks River. So that's one of the factors I think that people need to weigh when they're considering who to vote for. It's just not about absolute body size, but also about what the bears persevered through during the summer to get fat. So there's Chunk, for instance. I think 856 is a big sleeper as well because he came back to the river pretty skinny this year, but he was looking really good by the end of August and into September. And then there's other bears like 901, for instance, who is a single female. She could have cubs in the den this winter. She could give birth in the den this winter, but she is just a balloon. She is looking really, really good. But I think I'm going to throw my endorsement behind Chunk this year. I think he has earned it because of his perseverance working through the pain and the injury that he sustained back in June.
And I feel like this gives us a different perspective, knowing what these bears are going through as well. But, just having this event going on, do you think this kind of helps the bears out in Katmai? Do you think people are treating them differently?
Well, we hope, of course, that people are more aware of what bears need to do to survive, what they need to do to get fat to survive winter hibernation. One of the goals of Fat Bear Week too, again, is to raise awareness for Bristol Bay and its sockeye salmon and the national park itself. I mean, it was really incredible for me to go to Bristol Bay and see what healthy watersheds truly look like. Watersheds that are full of salmon. And I don't think I could have imagined really what that looked like without seeing it in person. So as parts of other parts of North America, they struggle with their salmon runs. And where I live now in Maine, they're trying to restore endangered runs of Atlantic salmon. Bristol Bay can give us sort of like a template of what healthy watersheds really look like. And that's, of course, ultimately one of the goals of Fat Bear Week and the wild landscape of Katmai National Park. We need to really double down our efforts to make sure these places are protected for the future.
And something really cool about Fat Bear Week, it's just gotten the attention of really people around the world. I have folks back home posting about this. How does it feel to see this just captivate an audience just outside of Alaska?
I feel very fortunate to be able to share, the the Katmai region and the Bristol Bay region with people around the world, and to be able to stay connected with that place. I haven't worked as a ranger in Katmai since 2016, but I can go there virtually every day during the summer through the webcams on Explode.org and really get a rich wildlife watching experience. It's not the same as being there in person. Nothing can replicate that. But the webcam experience allows us to get to know a lot of these bears on an individual level and watch them not only across days, but seasons and years. So yeah, I feel very fortunate to be in the position that I am to share the really amazing landscape that is Katmai.
And for us who aren't able to just get down there and see those bears in person, how can we participate in a Fat Bear Week?
Well, you want to go to fatbearweek.org. That's where voting takes place. There will be matches ongoing until September 30. That's the final match. There's no voting on the weekends this year, but the polls close in Alaska at 4 p.m. Alaska time. So you can vote anytime up until then.